It's really risky in movies to show the good guy of the film circumventing
currently established security measures.
That is always a really risky proposition. There's lots of really interesting stuff about this gun. You know, we got the chance to design this firearm for that scene.
This podcast is rated PC for Pew Culture. Pew, 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 pew. Welcome to the third episode of Pew Culture. Why am I looking at the screen? I'm supposed to be looking at the camera. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, welcome to the third episode of Pew Culture. I'm Colin Noir. I'm the gun guy that loves gun movies and all things guns, cars. Yeah, and then there's this guy.
I like money.
What? That's not why you're on the podcast.
Oh, wait. No,
We don't even have sponsors.
Yes, we do. Ooh. Sonoran Desert is. Prime Energy is going to pay us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
That's it. No, that's someday we'll get paid. I'm Jake.
You're Jake.
All these movie props are mine. That's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's why you're on my podcast.
100%.
Anyway. But no, so today we are talking about The Punisher. More specifically, The Punisher, not the movie, but the series. That's currently on Disney X, the last episode of the first season.
John Bernthal is the Punisher.
Yes.
He wins.
Is there any other one?
And it's over. Season 1 wrap-up, done.
Is there any other Punisher?
Well, yeah, there's Punisher Warzone.
That doesn't count.
There's Thomas Jane's Punisher.
Doesn't count.
Dolph Lundgren's Punisher.
That doesn't count.
Dolph Lundgren's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Still doesn't count. The only Punisher I acknowledge is Bernthal.
Fair enough. John Bernthal is a badass. He's a good dude.
Met him once at SHOT Show.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I actually met him on the show because I was there.
Stop one-upping me. Jesus.
That's what I'm here for. And guess what? That is his gun.
He actually asked me to be on this podcast.
The real ones?
Yes.
You didn't go, though, because you're not a real one, right?
It was a scheduling issue. It was a scheduling issue.
I'm sure it was.
It was a scheduling issue. I have the DMs to prove it.
Yep, I can Photoshop, too.
I'm not saying he slid in my DMs, Peter. Whatever. Anyway.
Giggity.
But more importantly, we're talking about the Seekin Precision rifle that he used in that last scene against Billy.
More specifically, the NXP-8. And there's lots of really interesting stuff about this gun. You know, we got the chance to design this firearm for that scene. Mm-hmm. Memento Mori is the name of the last episode of the first season. It is where Billy Russo becomes Jigsaw, which is now, that's obviously Frank Castle's.
Brutal.
It's really awesome. That's Frank Castle's arch nemesis. So in the comic books, if you go back, but it's a night fight. It goes back to the carousel where their friendship ended and the hatred began. And at the time, one of the reasons people ask, hey, Frank was in the military, Billy's in the military. Frank uses a Seekin Precision. Billy uses a KE Arms, KE-15, which in part 2 of this podcast, we'll actually get to see the KE-15 as well. But why are they using non-military issue firearms? And the answer is so simple. It's because these people were paying me. So that's why we used it.
I will say, I'm glad they didn't use military firearms because I think each gun, and I don't know if this was on purpose. I'm going to assume it's on purpose because it's you. But each gun really represented the individual, the distinctions between the two. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, they were both in the military, but they kind of approached it it's kind of like you and I.
Yeah.
Right. Billy was very kind of pretty boyish, clean, that
so like
kind
me.
Whatever. And then you had the Punisher, who was very raw, gritty.
Yes. Both of the rifles were designed to articulate the character of each individual. Billy was clean, like everything was to a point. He had that personality that made you want to like him until you didn't like him anymore. And the KE-15 was like that.
He looks like that one actor who was in that one Netflix series about that wife who was like, yeah, it's played out better in my head.
Yeah, it didn't go
But
well.
he was the guy who she was like obsessed with still.
Yeah.
And then
He also looks like the guy that is in all of the cell phone commercials.
which one?
All of them, because he's literally, I don't know, he's in all of the cell phone commercials.
Cell phone commercials. All the cell phone commercials.
Verizon. It's literally the same actor. He's in them.
Wait, is that
Yeah,
legitimately
it's
him?
It's literally.
I don't remember any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's him.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll go back and watch it. Elijah, pull him up.
We don't quite have those capabilities just yet.
So, anyways, back to this gun. This we designed for the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about the Punisher and John Bernthal, you know, short-tempered, flies off the handle fast, big bright flash. That's what this gun does. The NXP-8, if you go to get this gun, it's a 300 blackout. So one thing that there are 300 blackouts in movies, but they never fire a 300 blackout blank. Very, very rarely.
Gotcha. So what are they firing?
5.56.
Okay.
So
because I mean they have same cartridge, same casing.
same cartridge, same casing. The issue is that 5.56 has been around forever. We've developed very, very good blank capabilities for standardized rounds, 9, 45, things like that.
Okay.
And it just typically doesn't make sense to create a 300 blackout blank when you don't need to. So while the NXP-8 is a 300 blackout firearm, this one specifically is chambered in 5.56.
So the original comes in a pistol configuration, correct?
Yes, so it comes with a SB Tactical brace instead of the PDW. Obviously, for the movie, ours is SB Art and full auto. So once you go full auto, it doesn't matter anyways. We knew that scene was going to be shot at night at the carousel. We wanted the actors to have we wanted the characters to have the ability to go at each other at night full throttle, and so Trijicon Reap IR, right?
Gotcha.
This was actually one of the most expensive optic scenes for two characters that we've ever done because we had to use real ones. So we went out full stop.
Why though?
Because the actors wanted to actually be able to go at each other. They actually wanted to be able to see each other under sight.
So it was that dark.
It was that dark, yeah.
Because in the actual, because if you asked me, right, and I think Peter asked me this question when we were watching the clip. I said I probably would have went in there with a red dot versus, even though I really, really like this optic.
Think about that, though. If you think the other guy is set up and ready to go for a night fight, and you come in with a red dot, and he actually has one of these, because remember, John comes in second. So Billy's already at the carousel. He's already ready to go.
Well, see, I'm being thrown off by the lighting in the actual film, in the actual scene. That's where my mind went. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I understand what you're getting at in terms of well, this is supposed to be a night scene.
And that's the thing. That's the hard thing with movies to convey, right? Yes, the carousel itself was well lit.
Yeah.
However, who would have thought that Billy was actually sitting on the carousel until he gets there and he has hostages? Now you're like, oh,
makes sense.
I understand why he's here. You think you're going to show up and you're going to literally fight in the dark.
Yeah.
And with movies, one of the really interesting things is that we can't make the scene as dark as it's supposed to be portrayed because you wouldn't. Because
then the scene would suck.
Game of Thrones. Yeah. How many of these movies do you see where the biggest complaint is the lighting?
Too dark, yeah. And speech.
Speech, yeah.
Because that's the one thing in my system at home when I'm watching my movies. My biggest issue is like the sound stage is usually awesome.
Yep.
But then the vocals always suck comparatively. Right?
Yes.
You can mitigate that by getting a center channel and things like that.
Yep.
So I'm a Martin Logan nut personally.
Of course you are.
Yeah. I mean, they make good. This shit's good.
It is good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Right?
Vizio also makes acceptable things.
I don't even want to ask why you said that because
I have 3 kids and they ruin everything. So
fair enough.
We have Vizio at home.
But no, I definitely can agree in terms of the lighting aspect of it. Like we talked about when we were doing the I Am Legend.
Yep.
episode, about him when he was in there and he found the nest of the zombies inside the bank, and I didn't realize, he was using the light the way he was using it, not just because from a tactic standpoint, but also because that's how we were going to be able to actually see the shot. Because otherwise it would just be dark.
100%. Well, and a really interesting thing that, we'll kind of get into, and we actually talked about it a little bit in the Die Hard episode, right? So in the Die Hard episode, we talk about the night vision technology from way back,
way
right?
back. That was like the size of this room.
Yeah, exactly. So huge. Though that night vision would have been extremely difficult to get, even for productions back then. These are
Definitely
ten to $16,000 optics. Back then, those units, which were cutting edge, were only available to the federal government. So you would have had to borrow them, and they would have been $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 units. So getting them would have been difficult. So a lot of times, what we do is, and especially now with like white phosphorus, thermal, things like that. Back in the day, regular old night vision, it would have just had to throw a green light. Now we're throwing a white light, but we're literally getting the shell, cutting everything out, stuffing this full of batteries and a light, and shooting it out the back end so that way it glows on the actor, but they can't see through it. Now, Bernthal trains. Even Billy Russo's character, he was boxing every day. He was actually training. He was getting out there trying to get ready. When you get with a method actor like that, who is actually on the range, and John trained with our buddy Taryn, you hand them an optic that they can't see through, it immediately throws them out of their character. And so a lot of times we can get away with broken optics, we can get away with cracked optics or ones that don't work. But when you're going to work with a Keanu, you're going to work with a Bernthal, you're going to work with a Chris Pratt, you need to make sure it works. And so that's why you spare no expense on these types of scenes. The other thing is for the gun community, it don't get much bigger than the Punisher. So we wanted to do it right. And it showed, because how successful and how die-hard loyal was this show for our community. I
mean, it did a great job of definitely scratching that gun guy itch.
Yeah.
Because usually we'll get shows and the guns tend to be somehow, I don't want to go so far as to say they're generic, but there isn't enough attention paid to the guns being used. And I think what Punisher did a great job of was, like we talked about also in I Am Legend, each gun became a character in and of itself.
Yes.
Right. And in such a way where it wasn't distracting from the overall plot of the show, but at the same time, that inner gun guy and just got excited to see the gun, see the setup, and see how things work, and then to realize that it was done correctly. And then on top of that, because it was a series, you got to see so many different types of platforms.
Right.
So I mean, hell, we could probably do 20, 30 episodes on each episode of Punisher with a different gun.
We could. And, one of the cool things is right after this episode, we're getting ready to fly out to Vegas. We've got a date with a couple of our prop house friends out there. Yeah. It's going to be pretty cool. Pause.
The little date thing was kind of weird.
We're going on a date. Okay. Me and him. It's going to be awesome.
As he wears the rainbow unicorn.
Deadpool, baby. I know. Come on, man. No, so we're one of the really cool things is we have access to all the historical props that are out there, and a couple of our partners who we built these guns with have all the other guns. And so I kept John's gun because that was the one that was near and dear to my heart. But they have Billy's KE-15. They have John's John's grenade launcher, his master key. They have Agent, I can't remember her name. They have both her shotguns. And they have all the Kimbers. So all the handguns that were really used in the movie, other than the takeaways.
So all the 1911s in there in the series were Kimbers.
Yeah, Kimber Warriors.
Okay.
Now there are things that we call takeaways, and so that's a firearm that is taken from another character, bad guy, whatever. There's You know, there is World War II era 1911s that were taken from bad guys, Glock 1917s, and we do that on purpose. The rentals are cheaper,
Gotcha.
so it doesn't cost as much for those compared to the high end guns, the hero character guns. But we're going to get a chance to look at and play with and shoot all of those. One of the biggest, I think, a shame about this is it only made one episode, right?
Yeah.
It was the episode.
Like,
so it was awesome. Now, if you want to build this, you want to put one of these together yourself. Obviously, you know Seekin NXP-8, right? All right, you start there. We did the Magpul, more like soft, grippy.
I have a love-hate relationship with that grip.
Dude, when it gets sweaty,
it's annoying. Like dry hands, it's amazing.
Truck gun, like it's great because you're not handling it continuously over and over again.
But over a long period of time?
Yep, it happens.
Yeah, it starts getting real bad.
We've actually started moving a lot to the Hera.
Really?
Yeah, the Hera grips, they work really well. The grip angle is awesome. They last because we drop these a lot. So we have been using those quite a bit. Trijicon Reap IR. Gonna be
the she's neats.
If your budget allows, it's great to have the real thing.
So
if not, though,
so what are those, like 10, 16?
10 to 16, somewhere there, depending on what all your options are. This one has the extended battery compartment, things like that.
They keep trying to sell me one at my local gun shop.
You'll eventually get it, I bet. Well, I mean, you're going to want to build this gun now, so.
I mean, I'll just take this one because this is in semi. So this is the actual gun, but this one is actually in semi right now.
It is.
So why is that?
Well, so a couple reasons. One, we are a manufacturer, Class 7, SOT, all that good stuff, but machine guns are expensive. And once you permanently modify a machine gun to a full auto and serialize it, it can't go back. So we use sear trigger packs.
Okay.
And so what that is the trigger pack itself is the full auto component, and it's the serialized part.
Gotcha. And you just drop it in.
And you just drop it in, and now it's full auto. So when we're talking about building movie guns, like we prefer to do that because what happens if I decide I want to retire and auction everything off?
Fair enough. Just rip it out and.
Yep. If it's a machine gun, because these are not obviously transferable. The only people I could sell it to would be another SOT.
Okay.
So the fun thing about this is I can convert it back and forth whenever I need to. Those trigger packs are currently on another movie.
Fair enough.
So this is the semi-auto version of it. If you wanted to build this and you wanted to go the less expensive route, one of the closest things, and I have actually been using them quite a bit on movies lately, one of the closest things to the Trijicon Reap IR is the Psionics.
Okay.
I don't know
those.
Yeah, so they're actually made here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They do decently well. They are digital, so they're digital night vision. They have like thermal style settings. They have standard night vision style settings, but you're looking at somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 compared to 10 to 16. So if you're really trying to just build as close to a replica of the movie gun as you can, that's not a bad option.
I can dig that. I do like the fact that you can, if you really wanted to, like you could mount a red dot on top of here.
Yep, you could.
And just basically kind of be your, I'm not going to say do everything gun because that didn't make sense. But it gives you the ability, if you don't necessarily want to use the IR or the night vision stuff that comes with this optic, just run it.
Well, we looked at doing, a angled offset. Like we looked at all those things, but realistically, we're like, listen, he's probably not even going to get into a reload here. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have a little back and forth. We're gonna rip a couple rounds, and this is probably gonna be a throwaway at that point. So
let's throw away the gun with the $16,000 optic on it.
When you think that you're,
I know. I'm being facetious, man.
Yeah, his mindset though is so interesting. Yeah. It's one of those really interesting things that the Punisher is both a really archival character where there's hundreds of thousands of pages of source material, but it's the person who's playing it who gets to pick and choose
what aspects of that material he wants to actually bring out to light.
Exactly. And John, there's a bunch of really good interviews with John about the Punisher, but he went the route of Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix, and he stayed in character, the whole time.
I think what John did with the character, and I'm going to get some slack for this, don't care, he grew it up. Mm-hmm. I think for a while, the Punisher, the symbol inherently was kind of childish in a way. I think people kind of saw it as a little bit of it's kind of goofy.
Well, and I think the symbolism is one of the issues with that, because that Punisher skull got slapped on everything.
That's the thing. It just became so pervasive in a lot of ways, and it was like people throwing it on the back of Glock slides and so forth and so on. And I think what John did is he made the character real in a way that anybody could relate to it. Even if you weren't a Punisher fan, so to speak, you could watch that series and not feel like you're walking away from, you just got done watching something that was kind of like some gun guy's wild fantasy. Even though, and I don't mean from the killing standpoint, but just, with all the guns and things like that. Because he did such a great job of adding that kind of human element to it. And I almost forgot what I was watching a lot of times. Like, it was only until I'd see him don the Punisher vest that I even realized I was watching the Punisher. And I say that in a good way.
Yes.
Right. So I definitely got to give props to him for doing that, because what it also did was it legitimized the firearms that were in the actual show.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And just guns in general.
I think that, and this was in the Netflix era of Marvel shows, which, Disney is resurrecting now. We didn't know if that would ever happen, right?
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that they did that was really, really smart was the way they introduced John's character in the Daredevil. Instead of having the Punisher just arrive and have his own show, because that prison scene, ooh, buddy. Yeah, that prison scene was one of the most violent, the most epic. At that point, you realized that the Punisher wasn't going to be, it wasn't going to be child's play. This wasn't going to be for kids. This wasn't going to be the Avengers. Yeah. This was a whole nother level of dark, and they were going to let him do what he was supposed to do.
And that's another thing, too, because the violence in Punisher wasn't just gratuitous violence for gratuitous violence sake. It didn't feel that way. Like, you can kind of get that sometimes when, like, you watch shows like The Boys. It just seems like just being violent just to be violent. When you can... Every scene where he was engaging in some type of violence, it was expressed through some emotion, real emotion that's coming from somewhere deep. And I know I'm kind of sounding all very highfalutin, but it's the truth. It didn't seem like, he's just being violent. Like, this show's just trying to be violent just to get people's attention.
Yep.
No, it was kind of like, there were actual times I'm like, not because the scene was just that gory, because it wasn't really gore. It was just violence.
Well, you remember the end of this episode where they throw away the guns. They get through the handguns. The handguns are gone. Billy pulls the knife.
Yep. He's
worried about the hostage. He takes the shot in the chest. The agent shows up. She takes a shot.
Did she even get a shot off on it? I don't remember her getting a shot. Yeah,
she's a distraction for literally 2 seconds.
I love the way they played it up though, because she starts off at her desk. She's like, and then she goes out there, and you think she's gonna be like this grand, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, she's just gonna come in and save the day almost.
Yeah.
I legit thought that was gonna happen.
And she had the chance. Yeah. She's not a bad shot. She showed through the season that she can shoot.
Just her tactics suck.
The tactic, it was. Yeah, she lost it. Now, at the same time, they're trying to make Jigsaw.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring the Punisher, Frank Castle's biggest archenemy to life.
Yeah.
No longer is this Barnes. Barnes is gone. Jigsaw comes into play, but that wouldn't have happened with that uber violent last scene. The raking of the face down the glass mirrors on the carousel, and it goes on for
It does.
10 seconds feels like 10 years when you're watching that type of violence.
It had to, though, because it established, because there was no redeeming quality about him.
Not anymore.
No.
He had lost his humanity.
No, yeah, but I think even though for him to become Jigsaw and for us to care, we needed to understand the pain that resulted in him becoming that way, right? And so that's why I think that, and that scene did a beautiful job of doing that, because it's like, even though you may not have liked them, you're like, damn, somebody did that. Like that's like, you have no choice but to be angry.
Yep.
At that point, like you're just, and it was kind of fucked up because John's like, I'm gonna make you ugly.
Yep. And I'm going to make it every time you look in the mirror, you're going to remember who did it to you.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really did set up the second season so well. And I'm really curious to see where they're going to go with season 3 now that Disney's at the helm.
Remember that black guy I was telling you about? Mm-hmm. I mean,
you?
I'm not saying anything.
Disney. Go. Where are you? This man right here doesn't have a leg.
This is not. No, I'm not that character, dude.
Oh. You're not being specific, so I'm not sure.
It's on purpose because I'm lying.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. That's all right.
It's on purpose.
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll call Taryn. We'll get you out there training with John.
I think there are enough videos already. That should have already happened.
Well, yeah, there is. It should have happened. But we have to VFX your leg. You have to be.
You and this goddamn dude with this leg. Give it up.
He's a great actor.
I'm sure he is. He's just not me.
Oh, shit.
No, I think what I hope doesn't happen in season 3 is they try to one up itself. And I think that's the failure that a lot of movies or series try to do. They try to one up themselves instead of just continue with the greatness you already established and then let that be what it is.
So I think
See,
I think what
agrees with
Disney,
me.
and I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think what Disney is doing the right way is they're leaving the Netflix version as canon. If we were scrubbing this, if we were literally going to take it away and it never happened, I think it would fail. However, because it's canon, because they brought back Kingpin, and you know Kingpin, I mean, in the Punisher and Kingpin go head to head,
It's going to be
it's going to be brutal. It's going to be violent. It's going to be bloody. It is going to be everything that we want to see when you're talking about the street level characters in the Marvel universe. And that's exactly what they said. You know, Kingpin, the way that Disney is looking at Kingpin is he is the Thanos of the street level MCU.
Gotcha.
And the fact that they're coming in and they're taking that method, that's what worked for them. That's what brought audiences to watch everything.
Yeah.
I feel like the street level MCU is going to go back to the roots, just with a much more violent twist.
Let's just say with their last offerings, I think they've learned their lesson.
They have, because money will tell you pretty much everything in movies.
Yeah.
And if you're losing money making movies, you won't be around very long.
Very long, yeah. And
they
people
did-
just want to be entertained.
They do. They do.
And I'm one of them. I'm one of those people, like, I can turn it on and off. Like, I can watch movies critically, and then most of the time I'm really watching them mindlessly because movies are my escape.
Yep.
You know? So I want that escapism to be quality.
Right.
You know? So even if it's silly, even if it's nonsense, I still want it to be quality. Give me gourmet McDonald's.
Okay. I could see that. Yeah, Happy Gilmore.
What?
Happy Gilmore's gourmet McDonald's for me. Any Adam Sandler.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I love
where
Adam
the hell did
Sandler,
that
right?
come
I
from?
love him. He's funny. He's but when you watch an Adam Sandler movie,
It's still quality.
you can just forget things for a little bit.
Exactly.
And that's the type of stuff. Now, the thing with the Punisher is this is just gourmet. Like,
Which is true.
When you're in it, you're emotionally invested. And honestly, if you sat and binge watched all of the Punisher season 1 at one time, you'd probably be exhausted.
No,
It would take it out of you.
dude, just watching the scene that we watched, the last scene, that was exhausting.
Yep.
It was exhausting as hell because, like I said, the violence is wrapped in real, raw emotions.
Yes.
And so so when you were watching it, you're along that roller coaster of emotions, right? Ironically, carousel.
Exactly.
And so by the end of it, you're like, damn, because you can genuinely see where he's coming from. You can genuinely see the anger, the resentment that's coming from Billy. And you wrap that all together. Even the damn hostages on the damn thing, it's like they just little kids working for like $2 an hour at the little thing. Leave them alone. But you could see even at the end of that scene when they sat down next to him, you know, it was almost kind of like yeah, they were happy he saved them, but it was kind of like a waiting to exhale moment for everyone. It was just kind of like, okay, all right. And then knowing he stayed in character for that long, I can only imagine. Now, I don't know if they shot this out of order, but I'm assuming if they shot it linearly.
Could you? Oh, could you? You would be so wiped. You wouldn't be able to do anything. But no, it is, and that was what the prop masters, the armors did really, really well through this. Is they provided the props, the right gear, the right equipment. Even the body armor and stuff. It was right to be able to be in that character and be fully invested. So. Back to this, you want to finish building. You've got your Seekins, your Trijicon.
Is that a stock trigger?
So the trigger that's on it right now is just a standard mil spec blade. The stock is a Maxim PDW, so easy to source, kind of expensive. For the people who are not going to SBR this thing, you're going to go with a SB Tactical PDW. Yeah. So, and the cool thing with that is the obviously the PDW stock and the brace are actually interchangeable. Okay. So you can actually swap those back and forth really easy. Mission First Tactical flip-up sights.
And the ones that took me 3 minutes to figure out how to use?
Yes, but once you figured them out, you were able to do it really fast. Right now. Just pull boom, flip.
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of hit me in my ego gut a little bit because you're like figure it out.
I wouldn't tell you how to do it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be the gun guy. I should probably know how to do this.
Yeah, well, I installed them, so I got to cheat a little bit. And then Mission First Tactical mag. So if you wanted to put together your very own version, that's what you would need.
Is that a Seekin brake?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that is their brake, their barrel, their upper. You can buy it all as one kit, or you can even piece these things out and you can actually build them yourself. Cool. So that's the gun. There's so many cool guns in the first season, and that's just the first season. The second season continued it on.
It really did. I wonder. So, how much can you tell us about, or how much can you talk about season 3 in terms of the types of guns that are going to be
literally zero.
Literally zero.
All the way to nil.
Well.
We can talk about it, not in front of the camera, and then we can
even conceptually.
Okay. The biggest thing that you can say is the Punisher is what he is. He's dark. He's gritty. He's going to find the most ruthless tool for the job. Yeah. And that's not going to change. Like there's no reason to change it. That's like saying, well, is Keanu and John Wick going to change his stripes and go completely away from those fast slick guns? No. How do you do that now? You can't.
I will say that I hated his van.
His what?
The van. I hated it.
The van?
Yes.
Oh, the Punisher's van?
Yeah, I hated it.
Well,
I absolutely hated it.
So that's the thing, right? The Punisher.
It fit. It was the right vehicle choice. I just didn't. You got to remember, I'm bougie. Yeah. So I saw it and I just thought he has a tactical rapey van.
He should have had a 1975 AMC Eagle, all blacked out station wagon.
I would have gone a little more modern. I honestly would have. I think a Magnum.
Fuck yes. Hell yeah. What you don't know about me is, so Collins and I are both super into cars. He loves.
I like fancy. I like European, like sexy, sleek European. I would say like my women, but it's a little bit broader than that. But I do like them sleek, sexy, and fast.
I like a really quality.
Damn.
I like a really quality station wagon. I have lots of them. All the Dodge Magnums that you can imagine, I have them.
I do. I will say this: I always get the RS, the Audi RS,
RS3.
No, it's not the RS3. I think it's the RS6 wagon.
All the Audi wagons.
Yeah, they're the only wagons I will touch.
What about a BMW Touring?
The Audis are the only wagon I will touch. There we go. Yes.
What about a Town and Country?
The Audi RS6 is the only way. That thing is beautiful. Oh, no. And also I do the, gosh, I forgot. The Ferrari.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Damn it. What is it?
Those,
Here, let me pull
those
it up.
things are sexy. This thing's only $94,000.
For Lusso. The Ferrari GTC for Lusso. That one I do. It's
worse than a regular station wagon.
No, it's not.
I'd take a Dodge Magnum over that.
You would, of course you would. That GT4C, have you seen the inside of that thing?
Oh, I'm sure it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I mean, it's impractical as hell. It's a two-door.
That's because there is no station wagon on earth that the inside of it isn't perfect. That's because that's what station wagons were made for. Perfection.
Okay, so in all fairness, I don't consider the Magnum a station wagon, even though I know it is.
It's a muscle wagon.
That sounds worse.
Well, guess what? That's what Dodge called it.
They call it a muscle wagon?
Yeah.
That's terrible. Who's in the marketing department?
Stellantis? I don't know.
Yeah, let's replace him.
Dodge, sponsor this podcast. We'll replace your marketing team.
Honestly, I could see John in a TRX.
John would. Oh, that would be. So, I wish there would have been.
Yeah, but
the TRX
yeah,
then.
Yeah,
oh, dude, that would have been so.
That
sick.
that is a Punisher truck.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Wrap that thing matte black.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like somebody's TRX that I know. Is Coleon Noir the Black Punisher? Okay, yeah, that was kind of lame. Anyway,
he's got too many. He's got too many legs for that.
But then he'd probably put like a tonneau cover on it and then mess it all up, and yeah, just.
Oh, he would have wrecked it instantly. I mean, the first scene.
No, he would have messed it up by putting a tonneau cover on it.
Dude, tonneau covers.
Don't
serve their purpose, but they are a huge pain in the ass.
I just don't like them. Just get an SUV.
You like truck caps, don't you?
What?
Yeah, you like the whole camper top. Bam.
Nah, I prefer those in a tonneau over a tonneau.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. So hauls more stuff inside.
What, the tonneau?
No, the truck camper top.
That's why I like it better.
Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that. Feel like it's less ergonomic and probably doesn't save on gas.
Can you pull up not a tonneau cover, but like
it's a camper top.
I genuinely don't even know what he's talking about. I'm just agreeing with him because.
Yeah, for a truck. There it is. Bam. So put it of note that Coleon Noir likes truck camper tops on his trucks.
That is atrocious.
His favorite thing ever.
Oh man, that's atrocious.
You basically just made it into basically made it into a really big station wagon.
Oh man, that's bad. I take that back. That's terrible, dude.
Can you please cut that out and make that into a short for me?
That is grotesque.
There you go. It's on a TRX too.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
That's so bad.
Coleon Noir now agrees with Jake that tonneau covers are better.
It looks like a weird human outgrowth.
Yeah, it's a tumor. It's a truck tumor.
Yeah. Oh God, that's bad. That's really bad. Oh man. Oh. Yeah, I'd probably do a tonneau cover.
Well, this devolved into chaos, but you know, John, the Punisher really does just wreck vehicles. First episode, second season, 10 seconds in, he wrecked a car. So, it doesn't really matter what he's driving. I get why they did that. I'm pretty sure the classic Punishers all had some cool muscle cars that they rocked. Thomas Jane, I'm pretty sure, had a sweet muscle car. John Travolta was in that movie as the bad guy. It was...
I don't remember him in that.
Most people don't remember John Travolta in movies. Unless you're talking about Grease.
Damn, you're right. Hold on, no.
Swordfish.
Damn, you're right.
Who else was?
I remember Hallie more than I remember.
Hey, I was just gonna say. I bet you I know who you do remember from the movie Swordfish.
Yeah, I do. I remember
Most people
that.
Don't even remember the movie Swordfish though.
Yeah, I didn't until you said it.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah, Hallie was bad in that one.
You want to know another action film that stars John Travolta?
That's actually pretty dope. The GTO.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Punisher car right there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's really risky in movies to show the good guy of the film circumventing
currently established security measures.
That is always a really risky proposition. We do it. I mean, movies do it. It does happen, but it's typically done by the bad guy. So you're like, oh.
Are you talking about it's risky from a real world implication standpoint, or in the movie in the way that the audience
catching flack
in the real world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting the blowback.
Okay.
From
has that happened?
Yeah, it's definitely happened a few times.
Are you at liberty to disclose
Let me check when some NDAs run out. We'll talk about that on a different episode. I mean, it is what it is. Like you're going to push the envelope with certain films.
Yeah.
You just know you're going to do it. Even The Punisher, to a certain degree, pushes those envelopes. Right? Yeah. He is a bad guy. He does not follow the rules. Yeah. He goes against what law enforcement wants. He goes against what the government tells him.
I wouldn't call him a bad. He's an anti-hero.
Which is literally a bad guy.
No, it's not, because then there wouldn't be designation anti-hero.
Anti-hero is the opposite of what a hero is.
But it's not a villain.
No, I'm not saying he's a villain.
But an anti-hero isn't bad. He's just not good.
He's not a hero. Anti-hero.
Okay, but
yeah, I'm aware of the relationships of the two words.
Google says an anti-hero does terrible things, but they aren't the villain.
Sounds like our military sometimes.
Yes, I agree. They just don't do it on American soil usually. So
yeah,
which is that makes it okay.
I mean, terrible things from the standpoint that most people who would couldn't do it themselves.
Yeah,
yeah, but it's a necessary evil.
And I agree with what the Punisher.
Yeah, but you said he's a bad guy.
No, I didn't say he was a bad guy.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did.
Okay, well, he is technically.
No.
Okay, all right, hold on. Here we go. From the standpoint of society.
Okay.
If you were watching a news article about a guy who is doing exactly what the Punisher was doing, he'd be a bad guy. The news would paint him as a bad guy.
That's your basis, the news?
No, I'm saying I'm talking about like the viewership of
character. But see, we're talking about him in context. So
Yep.
we understand the motivation and the drive behind why he's doing it. That's what makes him not a bad guy.
So take yourself out of that, though. That's what I'm talking about is if you had no context for what the Punisher was or is or what he was doing,
okay,
and you were sitting at your high-rise apartment in a place in Texas, do people know where he lives?
They know I'm all over Texas.
4411 Main Street.
That's actually pretty damn close.
Oh, dang. Sorry about that. But if you were sitting in your high-rise condo apartment and you heard on the news that there was this vigilante running around just murking everybody and stealing people's guns so that way he could kill people with them, and then all of a sudden he drove a truck through the front of your high-rise apartment downstairs and he hit your mailbox in there and it ruined all your shit, would you be pissed at him or would you be like, nah, that guy's awesome?
Honestly?
Yeah.
My natural inclination is to ask motivation first. So I'm going to ask, why the hell did he do this? I may not like it because you just ran a fucking vehicle into my building where I live. I'm not a fan of that.
He hit your Porsche.
I'm not a fan of people dying either, though. But I understand some people's deaths aren't going to warrant a tear from me because they are horrible, bad people.
Right,
they are bad persons.
And they do deserve it.
Yes, but when those bad persons are killed by the anti-hero, that inherently makes the anti-hero incapable of being a bad person.
Okay, but you just got married and just had kids and you just got that Audi and your wife and kids were in the Audi in the garage and bad guy who he was chasing happened to hit it.
Then I become the anti-hero to the anti-hero.
There you go. He is the Punisher. It came full circle. We figured out how Coleon Noir becomes the Black Punisher.
That's a little redundant, though.
Well, I had to write the whole story from the beginning
I'm saying Black Punisher is a bit redundant because inherently the Punisher in and of itself is pretty dark.
Yeah, it is, but your costume is complete rainbow colored.
You know damn well that would not be the case.
It is when I get on Photoshop later. It's going to be awesome. John, our graphic designer, is working on it already.
Granted, I'm in the Bruce Wayne side of my proclivities in terms of
7-year-old and his parents just died.
My delusional my delusions of grandeur are very much Bruce Wayne. Not even Batman, Bruce Wayne.
That's cool. I'll be Batman for you. I'm Batman.
And the only Bruce Wayne we recognize is Bale.
Is Michael Keaton.
Oh, gosh. I don't have a problem with Michael Keaton.
Coleon Noir's favorite Batman is Bat Nipples. George Clooney's Batman.
That's not...
You said it.
Why is he Googling it?
Check out these nips, man. They're just right there, right in your face the whole movie.
All that is just a demonstration of the perversion of Hollywood in and of itself. Right there, the Batman costume with the nipples. That is so unnecessary.
Here's the thing, man. You can't actually. The movie might have been okay. But I don't remember because it was it was an hour and 30 minutes of me looking at George Clooney's bat nipples.
That is insane. I never realized how prominent the nipples were.
They built him right into the suit.
What was the thought process?
Man, make this dude have some sick ass nipples.
For what though? Nipples inherently on men are useless.
To be fair, have you ever seen the movie Machete?
I don't remember much of it, but yeah.
Well, all of those chicks shot stuff out of their boobs. Maybe he had a grappling hook there.
That just makes it even weirder.
Can you edit that together for me? Let's see if it works.
That's just. But this is a perfect demonstration for why the only Bruce Wayne I acknowledge, and even Batman, is Bale.
That's fair. I mean, I actually didn't hate the new Batman. I thought it was okay, mainly because how good Colin Farrell was at the Penguin.
Very good.
Very
good. Because the Penguin was largely kind of a comical villain.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, it was Danny DeVito. Yeah. It was Danny DeVito.
All the renditions of the Penguin have been comical at best. And this one was the first time I was like, I'm low-key kind of scared of.
Oh, yeah. No, and he did, it's Colin Farrell, right? So he goes to lengths to play the part, just like Christian Bale.
Yes.
Which is one of the reasons why people loved his portrayal so much.
Very much so.
However, you go back to that, and we will do the Dark Knight and all that stuff on this show because
Batman doesn't use guns.
We have we have Heath Ledger's roller locker back here from the Dark Knight. The scene where Batman's coming at him on the motorcycle and he's standing in the middle of the road and he's yelling, "Come at me!" And so we have that here. We'll cover all that. But that Batman, even with Christian Bale, because the first one, Batman Begins with. Was that it? Batman.
Yeah, I think it's Batman.
It's the one
Begins.
with Liam Neeson.
Yep.
It was fine. It was good. And then the third one with Tom Hardy, who I love as Bane. It was fine. It was
okay,
good.
I gotta say, I know people think that one was the worst.
I don't think it's
of them. He killed that role.
Bane. Oh, Tom Hardy is perfect for Bane.
Killed that role.
He's perfect. There were I still don't think if they made another if they wanted to bring Bane back, I couldn't see anyone else other than Tom in that.
Yeah.
But the reason why The Dark Knight was so perfect was because Heath Ledger paired with Christian Bale made it that way.
Very much
if
so.
you took Heath Ledger out of that role and you inserted any other actor, it wouldn't have been the same movie.
Nah, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
So you can ask yourself, would that movie have been as good with George Clooney's bat nipples and Heath Ledger? It could have been. We'll never know.
I think Joker would have been jealous.
He would have been.
I think he would have been jealous.
It also would have probably got inappropriate real fast.
There's just something very uncomfortable about nipples, like when you're not expecting to see them,
especially on this shot.
They're just there.
What's up with his face? He looks like he has to poop the whole time. It never stops. You know what? I saw a meme the other day too, though. On it's just gonna be on the screen the rest of the show, isn't it? It's just gonna stay there. No, I saw a meme the other day on Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman, and everyone's like, you know what? Everyone wants to talk shit about how bad Ben Affleck's Batman was, but this scene slaps, and it was the scene where he is working out and getting himself prepared. That scene was pretty fucking
gotcha.
badass.
The only problem with Ben Affleck's Batman, or more or less, actually his Bruce Wayne, was he was a little too on the nose about being rich, and the way the way he executed was a little bit kind of. And I like Ben Affleck.
He was Tony Stark.
Yeah, yes, but that's not Bruce Wayne's personality.
That's what I'm saying though. Is Ben Affleck took a page out of Robert Downey Jr.'s book and was playing Bruce Wayne as if he was
fair enough.
Now Tony Stark worked for everything he ever got, right? He built it.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne inherited it.
Yeah.
So your usage of the money and your showing of the money should be different.
The funny thing is Bale portrayed Bruce Wayne from the standpoint of, I'm acting like a rich douchebag to throw you off the scent that I am Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Affleck portrayed Bruce Wayne as, I'm rich and I'm Batman, and I want you to make this connection, and I'm going to give you every opportunity to make that connection and give you all the clues and hints to make the connection that my rich ass is actually Batman. And it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I like Ben Affleck and his acting abilities, but I think Bale's portrayal was a little bit more relatable.
So, and I think that's something that you're going to find in any movie when you have an actor play the same part over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. When you have, like, that's the thing, right, is you couldn't have Joaquin Phoenix come in and be the Joker and him hold a candle to Heath Ledger. He had to be a different Joker.
I never thought about that. Because I think for me, that was, even though I understood that Joker was supposed to be something entirely different, mm-hmm. I still went into it expecting Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think that's why I couldn't really connect with it. Because I understand all of the raving and how awesome it was and all the accolades that it received. I understand that, yeah. I still personally walked away kind of empty after watching it. It just didn't do anything for me.
One of the things, there's two, it either didn't do anything to you or there is that empty feeling just because of, in my personal opinion, how good that movie did at making you feel the emptiness that someone who has that kind of mental
I can see that.
Just so unstable, so unloved, so hated. That scene where the kids take a sign from him at the beginning and they break it, just that absolute demolishing of the human spirit. That movie made you feel it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think that was an emotion because there was no real resolution, and it just left you in it. Yep. And I think that's why I kind of walked out. I was like, ugh. It was good, very good.
It's
but
draining.
I just kind of
it's draining.
I walked out like I needed some superficial resolution, other than just pure chaos and destruction that seemingly was taking place towards the end. Yeah, right.
And that's not an anti-hero act.
Yeah,
right?
That's a bad person.
That was just pure villain. Yeah. It was just pure villain. Yeah. But it was well directed. It was well acted. It did everything that you needed to do. However, you just have to know that when you're looking at someone who plays such an iconic role, it would be like trying to replace Bernthal now as the Punisher. Yeah. It would be so difficult now to move on and replace it, or replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, or replace Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Yeah. You can do it, but it better be a completely different character under the same name. Because you're not going to do the perfect casting justice if you're just trying to be the same thing. There will not ever be another Heath Ledger to play the Joker. There will always be the Joker, but it won't be like him. Yeah. And there will never be another John Bernthal to play the Punisher.
I agree.
You heard it here.
And on that note, that is the end of the podcast episode.
Woo!
Even though half of it was about Batman.
Well, bat nipples. I'm going to go see if I can find this suit and get Collins in it. We have to get a lot of butter, canola oil, and there's some type of like lube that you were talking about earlier.